Alright, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Bro, the gym smells like literal shit. Like, what the fuck's happening? Oh my, it's actually so putrid, I might not even stay here anymore. It's like some kind of something happened in this gym. It's like a sewage problem or something, but it just absolutely stinks. Like, I can't even, this is just this, it smells so bad in here. It's like someone took a shit. No, there's some kind of sewage problem right now in the gym, and it just smells absolutely terrible. Like, I can't even, oh, this is so bad. No wonder everyone's trying to leave. This place smells so bad. Dude, I can't even breathe my nose. It smells so bad. There's like a really, really bad sewage smell. Like something's broken in this gym. Dude, it smells so bad. I'm sure we'll get used to the smell, but it just smells really, really bad. It's super stuffy in here as well. Yeah, it just smells really, really bad in here. It smells so bad in here. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's definitely sewage smell. It honestly smells like a bathroom broke somewhere. Because outside was like at this time, like no, outside was fine. There's actually something inside the gym that just smells really, really bad. Like I don't even want to walk fast or run because I really don't like breathing this. I might have to do this. It smells so bad. This time we have to cover our nose up in hopes that the smell disappears. But oh, it smells so bad. I'm about to. Oh no, no, the gym. The smells so bad. I really can't. Dude, we cannot stay here for like. I was gonna talk about cooked earth because yesterday we had such a terrible loss. You know, yesterday we had such an absolutely terrible loss. It was tragic. And today I was gonna talk about planning it, but I'm actually gonna vomit here. Change of plans. We're gonna have to do really, really slow cardio at home. I'm just gonna have to like walk or bike. No, there's no walking or running. I'm just gonna have to go on the little bike for the cardio, and then I'm gonna just go straight to Alpha 3 regime, and I'll do the dips later. Yeah, sounds alright. Now we're done. No. So, ladies and gentlemen, I really cannot. There's a really, really bad sewage smell here. I gotta go. There's no way I could do this. Ooh, it smells terrible. You gotta be kidding me. No, 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 no. I should have left earlier. But I was really contemplating about if we stay here or not. But like, I'm trying to. When we walk fast or run, we need a smell and get air. But the air here is polluted. It's like a sewage problem. We gotta go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can't. No, we're gone. We're not staying here. Bye bye.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I know it's a bit of an interesting day today. We've done a long time of cooked earth, but I might as well show you some maintenance work or some editing background stuff. So I'm gonna show you what I exactly do. First of all, we're gonna open DaVinci. Yeah, we use DaVinci for PC things. Yep, and we use Final Cut Pro for post editing when it comes to like the Deep Blues footage. But when it comes to gaming and things like this, yeah. A sneak peek of Scum's Wish right here. So, anyways, I'll show you exactly what we do. First of all, let's probably get rid of this. Delete that. Let's delete that. I'll keep that. Okay, new project. Create. Now, what do you do next? You go over here, you go into your files, and currently this one's the OBS one, but we'll go with this one here. This is the Cooked Earth episode something. I don't actually remember. Let me quickly double check real quick. But what we do is I'll show you exactly how we edit these. There's not really much editing. It's episode 12. Got it. Episode 12. So you drag this over here, change frame rate. I don't really edit much because this is raw. So I just move over here. And what I do is I pretty much just scrub the timeline until I see myself go to the bathroom. Like here, for example, we are gone to the bathroom. So let's quickly change it up. So once we leave, press W, and then once we come back, but the RGs, we're gonna be back. So we're done, and then press Q, and now that entire part's gone. Now let's continue scrubbing for any more bathroom breaks, and then that's pretty much it. There we go. Found I think we only took 2 bathroom breaks. So we'll just find it here. Press that, and then now we go find until we come back. I got this. I've streamed for. There we go. Quickly going. Oh, hold on. I'll be back. I've streamed for like 6 hours plus before. Okay, and then that's pretty much it. I think we only took 2 bathroom breaks. So we just quickly scrub the timeline, and yeah, scrubbing the timeline, it's clear that we've only gone to the bathroom twice, and that's really all we need to edit. There's no other editing. The rest of it is just YouTube timeline stuff. So yeah. Okay, now I'll show you the export setting. I will show you the export settings. All right. So I pretty much just go over here and the entire timeline. Yep. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with the browse location. We're gonna go with the downloads. We go save there, and then we're gonna name this Cooked Earth. Oh, sorry. Cooked Earth episode 12. Now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go format. We're gonna go with the MP4. We're gonna go with the H2.64. We're gonna go with native, and then we're gonna go with a 1920 by 1080p HD, of course. The frame rate 60 FPS, and then we can go encoding. We're gonna go with a main, and we're gonna go with a quality constant bitrate. And then the first, what I do first is the 80 megabytes per second is YouTube's upload, and then I have an archive called 30. I use 30 megabytes per second for the archive one, so just 130,000. So this one goes uploaded to YouTube, and I delete it, and this one is the one I keep as a backup. All right. And all you do is just click render all, and then yeah, that's gonna take a couple hours, but no problem. Now we are going to do some story videos, right? Yes, I do remember that. We're on story 2. Righty-ho, story 2. Let's go. Story 2, let's go.
Clearing in the trees that we set up camp in.
Hold on. Okay, welcome to story time. Story 2, right? Let's do this.
I think we arrived around 6, so...
Am I missing context already? I think I am. Hold on. Story 2. Alright, story 2, let's go.
Me and a childhood friend of mine, I'll call him Ethan, were out in the forests of Maine on a short camping trip. We both were fairly experienced. However, this was Ethan's first time going to this spot. I'd been there plenty of times before though, so I knew the area pretty well. We backpacked down a several-hour-long trail to get to a clearing in the trees that we set up camp in. I think we arrived around 6, so after setting everything up, we built up a nice campfire and made food.
Okay, so you're camping with your boy? Nice. 7-hour hike? Okay. I've never gone 7 hours before. Maybe I have actually. But that depends on what you mean by hike. But okay, so far so good. Nothing weird.
Then cracked open a few beers and talked around the fire as the sun set around us. It was a chill, enjoyable night. I want to say around 2 hours into the night though, we both heard what we thought was something moving around just outside of our campsite, like in the darkness, past what our campfire was lighting up. We looked and saw nothing, and for the rest of the night, we heard nothing else. We thought it was probably just a small animal scurrying away. Honestly, if nothing else happened, I never even would have remembered it or thought about it again. That's how insignificant it seemed in the moment. If you're unfamiliar with camping, it might seem strange, but being out here all the time, those kinds of noises happen a lot and are almost always nothing to worry about. Once we had our couple drinks and started getting tired, we called it a night and poured out the fire, then got in our tents and fell asleep. In the morning, we woke up early, as this spot was good for a reason. That reason is because there was a very secluded, private pond just a half-mile through the woods from the campsite. Nobody knew about it, because the trail didn't actually lead to it. It was really nice though, having a mini waterfall and small river running through it. We spent most of our morning there, like a whole 3 or 4 hours. Eventually, we headed back to make food and rest for a bit.
Did you guys catch any fish? No? Okay, all good. Sounds pretty chill to me. I mean, you guys, first night, wake up, go to pond, chillin'.
I even took a short nap. Again though, around 6, the sun was getting lower, and we hadn't collected any firewood yet for the campfire. Most of the dry sticks lying around the camp we used up last night, so I had to do a little more searching to collect what we needed.
But what's the point if you put the fire out anyways? Didn't you guys put the fire out already? Like, before you slept, you said you poured the fire out. So, do you actually need a fire? What do you actually need the fire for? Cook food, right? I think so.
Midway through, Ethan said he was going to take a walk around and just explore the other areas, but would pick up whatever he could on his way back. I said sure, and just continued grabbing sticks off the ground.
Just stick together though.
Ethan did this pretty much every time we were out camping.
Okay, well then pattern
I think
recognition.
he just enjoyed having some time to spend alone, and to just take in the nature. Anyway, I got a good amount of firewood and sat back down at the camp, just wasting time until Ethan got back so I could start the fire. The sun got lower and lower, and eventually I just kind of realized it had been a strangely long time since he'd left.
I mean, would you stick with your boys or would you separate? I don't really know, honestly. Really depends on the context, right? But yeah, splitting apart's not that, shouldn't be that worried, because some people just go camping solo anyways, so, you know.
Usually he wasn't out this long, and he was experienced enough to know to not be wandering the woods so close to sunset. The only way we had to keep in contact out here, where there's no service, is through our small satellite messengers. We kept them on us at all times in our small waste packs, along with bear spray and other stuff like that. It's usually more of an SOS device, but in situations like this, it came in handy too. I pulled mine out to send him a message, but saw that he'd already sent me one just a few minutes ago. Ethan said he got kinda lost, but happened to stumble back to the pond. I sent a message saying to just stay there and I'll hurry over to lead him back. Being lost, it's always best just to stay put and not risk getting any more lost, and both me and Ethan knew that. So, me knowing the area, I quickly started heading to the pond. At this point, it was really just a race against the sun. Even having headlamps and knowing the area during the day, it would still be really easy to get lost at night. I got about halfway to the pond, maybe 4 or 5 minutes away, when I got another message. I reached into my bag and checked it, assuming it was just going to be him checking in or asking for an ETA. But Ethan sent the words, "I see you." What did he mean, "I see you"? I wasn't even near the pond yet. I stopped and looked around, confused and not seeing him anywhere. I said I wasn't there yet and didn't see him. Slightly worried, I started moving faster, basically running to the pond. I got there quickly, running up to the tree line before the water. Ethan wasn't there. From where I was, I could see the whole tree line around the pond, and he wasn't anywhere around. I felt blood rush from my face and pulled the messenger back out. My last message saying that I didn't see him hadn't been opened. I called out his name, hearing my voice echo through the trees. The sun was nearly gone, and the forest was getting quieter and darker. Maybe he already started heading back, like he somehow remembered the way. I don't know why he would, but where else would he be? With the daylight practically gone, I knew it was safest for me to head back and figure things out from the camp. I didn't start the fire yet, so if I waited too long, I'd never be able to find the campsite in the dark. I began walking, feeling uneasy as I moved through the trees and felt...
Would you go back to the campfire or would you go find your friend at the pond? That's kind of, I'm not really sure if that's a good idea or not, right? Wouldn't you try find Ethan instead of, walking away again? That's, I don't know. What would you even do in that situation? Okay, yo, I'm coming to the pond, stay there. Hey, I see you, I'm not there yet. Yo, where you at? Okay, time to go back to the campfire. I don't know what you would do in that situation, honestly. Would you try find your friend with the headlamp? What are you going to the campfire for? You think he's going to be there now or something? But he would send you a text message, so I feel like you would stay at the pond and wait for your friend to text you back first, right?
The woods get darker and darker. All I could think about was the ominous last message he sent. I see you. It was nearly pitch black by the time I was a minute or so from the clearing, but then I saw something. A flickering orange glow right from where the campsite was. As I got closer, I could see that the campfire was lit and someone was standing right by it. I started approaching, feeling a wave of relief, knowing Ethan had made it back safely. But when I got closer, the person suddenly shifted and looked toward me, then sprinted away from the fire and out of the campsite. Heart pumping, I ran up, confused and terrified. That wasn't Ethan. I pulled my messenger back out and started spamming texts. At this point, I was seriously worried and disturbed by what was going on. But just a minute or so later, Ethan came running out of the woods and into the campsite. He had a face of both fear and relief. He immediately said we had to go. I agreed, mentioning the guy I saw by the fire, and him saying it was likely the same guy he saw approaching him by the pond. He said he thought it was me, until he got closer and realized it was someone else. Apparently then, Ethan tried asking if the guy knew how to get back to the trail, but the man didn't respond. He just kept walking forward, revealing a really unsettling smile across his face. And according to Ethan, something about him looked really off, like his face was uncanny. Something just wasn't normal about it.
Yep.
This sent him into a panic, where he just ran in the direction he thought was most likely toward the campsite, getting lost again, but eventually seeing the fire and going toward it. We packed and left. The hike back was unnerving to say the least, but we did manage to get to our car and leave. This event made me rethink back on the whole camping trip, remembering the movement we heard outside of our camp on the first night, and just putting all the pieces together. Likely, the man that was out there was watching us the whole time, waiting for one of us to be alone. Even just thinking about his presence outside of our campsite as we were talking, sleeping, and everything, completely unknown to us, is extremely disturbing. We still talk about that camping trip every now and again, but never plan to go back to those woods.
What kind of story would you? What kind of lesson would you even get from that story? I don't even know what kind of lesson you would get from that story. Like, another human's the most dangerous thing, right? But let's be clear. Let's be clear here. He did kind of help you guys out by lighting the fire. I'm just just saying. You know, he kind of helped you. You know what I mean? He kind of helped you. He lit the fire for you guys. So imagine if he didn't light the fire, then I think both of you would be lost. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just don't really think you can get a. What kind of lesson can you get from that? Don't know. Let's go story 3. Next. Lessons there is pretty hard. I don't think there's any lesson there, really. Pretty hard to find a lesson there. Just stay away from humans, but yeah. That situation you really can't do much. That situation is more of a it is what it is. Alright, next up. Alright, let's see.
This was in 2016.
2016.
But I remember every detail of the night, as if it had just happened. I go out in the woods just south of the town I live in pretty frequently, at least 4 or 5 times a year. This weekend, I kind of just had that urge to get out and have some time alone.
Hey, relatable. Sometimes you just gotta go. Same urges. I get it. It's like sometimes, I've got nothing prepared. Let's just go to Twizel. You know, let's just go there. Or, hey, feel like we should just go to the pier right now. Let's go. I get that feeling, right? Hey, relatable. Just like, you know, time to go. It is what it is.
So I quickly filled my backpack and drove down to my favorite trail.
Okay.
I honestly don't know if it was even an actual trail that was marked on maps and all that. Nobody was ever hiking it or camping on it, so I'm really not sure if it was well known. I parked on the side of the road near the trees, got my bag out, and hiked for 2 hours to the end. This part of the woods wasn't mountainous or anything. It was very flat and just densely covered in trees. Great for a chill 1 or 2 day camping trip, but definitely nothing more than that, as it can get kinda boring. The campsite had nothing really to it. There was a few hours until sunset, so I took my time getting everything perfect and starting the campfire. I relaxed and ate some trail mix, just enjoying the warm fire and birds chirping.
That sounds hella chill.
When the sun got lower, I tossed more sticks in. I always found it interesting how quickly the forest goes from being so alive to almost instantly getting quiet once the sun sets.
Yep, everyone's sleeping.
I sat there and listened to the quietness for only about 25 minutes after dark before a strange sound interrupted the silence. It was music. It was coming from the distance, pretty far away, and it sounded like some old classical song. It almost sounded like an old record player. I stood up and looked in the direction it was coming from. Was there another campsite nearby?
Probably.
Maybe it was a group just casually playing some music,
Yep.
albeit really loudly. I stayed at my campsite and just listened for a while. Had to be 30 minutes at least. But what was so odd, and honestly kinda eerie, was that the song never changed. It was the same classical song on repeat, filling the void of the silent woods. I'm not one to usually care much if other campers are nearby, or having a loud bonfire party, or whatever they're doing, but this felt different. Something was off, and I didn't like it. After those 30 minutes, I decided to walk a bit closer just to see what was going on. I didn't want to creep on anyone, but just wanted to make sure it was nothing weird, so I'd be.
And then story 4 POV. The boys just playing some music, chilling, and then they see someone in the distance. GG. You're scaring each other. He's gonna creep up. they're gonna get scared or something.
Able to sleep tonight. I grabbed my flashlight and started walking toward the sound. I felt like I was walking pretty far, which made it even weirder that I could hear it from so far away. The closer I got, though, and the louder the music got, something started to feel really creepy. I could tell I had goosebumps, and my heart was beating a little faster. It was then that I realized I'd only brought my flashlight. I should have brought my pocket knife or pepper spray.
Bruh, imagine the POV from these other people. RIP, man. The other POV is gonna be so scary. Hey, I thought we were alone camping. Wait, there's someone with a flashlight coming over here. What? What do you mean? Uh-oh.
But I didn't even think about it. Eventually, I could tell I was getting really close. The music had to be coming from just 30 or 40 feet away, but I couldn't see anything. No bonfire or campfire or
Oh.
light of any kind.
GG, run.
And then I saw it. A giant speaker sitting kind of propped up behind a tree. Nothing else was around it. I shined my flashlight everywhere, and there were no signs of anyone.
It's a trap.
I walked up to the speaker. It looked like an old one from the early 2000s, basically just a giant box with an old LCD display and worn out buttons to control it. I found the power button and turned it off. Suddenly, the forest was silent. The stark difference was eerie.
Would you turn it off? I don't know if I would turn it off. I probably wouldn't even touch it. I would just scan it, be like, speaker in the forest. No lights. Okay, you know what? You can keep your background music. I'ma head out. Nah, let's go walk to it and turn it off. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Who did this? It almost felt like a trap or something, but even then, I made every excuse for it to not be. Like another camper leaving it behind on accident, or I don't know. Nothing really made sense about it, but I really didn't want to think it was the worst. I didn't stay longer than I had to. I hurried back to my campsite, feeling relieved to see my campfire and get back to what felt like the safety of my camp. However, as the minutes passed, I couldn't shake a strange feeling that loomed over me, like something was still off, but I didn't know what it was. The feeling got worse and worse until I remembered about my knife and pepper spray, thinking that if I kept them nearby, I'd feel safer. But that's when I realized what was off. Things were missing. My matches for starting fires, my cooking utensils, and both my knife and pepper spray, all just gone. My body tensed up. Someone was here. I didn't even have to think for a second longer before packing what was left. And as I did, I heard it again. The music playing from out in the darkness of the woods.
Good. Now leave quickly.
Closer though, definitely not far out where I'd found it before.
Uh-oh, never mind.
I hurried, getting out of the campsite and running down to the trail. As I got further and heard the music fading out, I started to feel a little bit better. Still freaked out, but I thought whoever was out there had to be by the speakers where the music was coming from, which meant I was getting further away from them. I got about 15 minutes down the path, now just walking through the quiet forest, far away from any of the music, and that's when I spotted something ahead, laying on the dirt trail. It was my stuff. The knife, pepper spray, utensils, everything that was missing. Someone laid it out perfectly lined up in the middle of the trail. What was the catch? Before I could grab any of it, I heard a flurry of footsteps rushing behind me.
Oh, GG.
I looked back, seeing nothing but darkness, so I just sprinted away, leaving it all behind.
Yep.
I ran for what felt like 10 whole minutes, then continued jogging slash fast walking for the rest of the way. Thankfully, I got out of that forest and back to the road. I really can't say what the hell I experienced that night. It feels like somehow I barely managed to escape some psycho, almost like they were playing with their food. I haven't been back to that forest, and I never plan to.
Yeah, good idea. Sounds like you ran into a group because... Sounds like he ran into a group of people because... Yeah, it must have been a group of people. Must have been a group of people because how can they put his bear spray and knife on the path of the exit? So it's been a group of people. Oh, dude, it's definitely a group of people. Played music, attract him. Once you turn off the music, they know that you're there, and then they can do what they want. And then, yeah. I don't know what you'll do in that situation, honestly, though. Not sure what you're doing in that situation because even if you left the speaker on, they would still get you. That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one. Dude, these camping stories, I have no idea how you can really learn any kind of lessons from these. I think we learn more lessons from just true horror stories, like story-wise, not camping ones. You know what I mean? I feel like camping ones don't really give much. I'm gonna do another story because today the gym smelled like shit, so I really couldn't do any videos there. So we're gonna do another video. We're gonna do another story, right? Story 4. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah, the gym smells so bad. I had to leave. We're gonna go to a private one tomorrow. Story 4.
This happened to me almost 8 years ago, and I've never stopped thinking about it. I was in my early 20s at the time and was camping out in the wilderness of Upper Idaho. I wouldn't say I was an experienced camper yet, but I did go out pretty frequently on long hikes and knew the basics of camping. Also, in that territory, there was a lot of wildlife, including black bears and grizzly bears.
GG.
So being prepared was a must, which
Gun?
deterred a lot of casual hikers and campers.
Yeah, obviously.
Not many people live up there either, and you'd only see the occasional tourist also hiking a trail. Most of the campsites in Upper Idaho are not very crowded. That being said, although admittedly unnecessary, I tried to stay away from those tourist-type spots and stick to lesser-known trails. For this trip, I'd chosen one that was just outside of the big mountain range that was well known. This trail just went through the forest and along the hills bordering the mountain, leading to a nice open spot with views of the mountain range. The nearest trail I knew of was 3 miles away that led to a small lake, which I assumed might have a couple other people, so that's why I skipped it. I was right though. My whole hike there, nobody else was around. The trail seemed basically unused, and when I got to the campground, it was open and empty. I set up my tent on the far side and found some big stones to build a fire pit with.
If your main goal is to avoid people, why would you go camp in a spot that is meant for camping? I feel like that contradicts your goal, no? Like, why would you... Okay, I want to avoid everyone. I'm going to avoid everyone. I'm going to avoid the trails. I'm going to avoid the people. Hey, this camping ground is where campers put their stuff. Let's build there. What? Why? You're in a spot where... Okay. Doesn't make sense. That logic there is already kind of weird. It's like, my goal is to avoid everyone. Let me go to a place where people... Okay, whatever. Camping ground, my ass.
I think I had 2 or 3 hours of daylight left, so I wasn't planning on doing much for the rest of the day. Just sit around the campsite and think about my plans for tomorrow. When the sun set, I built up the fire and roasted some marshmallows while stargazing. The whole valley was really quiet, just a subtle breeze coming through and the occasional wildlife calling out. But then something interrupted the silence.
Another human.
A repeated crunch of leaves coming from out in the woods. After a second, it was pretty obvious that it was a person walking. I didn't know what to do except sit there and stare in that direction, kind of just shocked and confused why someone was out there, until they showed up at the edge of my campsite. It was a man, but with the shadows from the campfire flickering over them, I couldn't make out much to identify them with. I could see they had a typical camping backpack on, and that was about it. They stood there and looked at me, then at the rest of my campsite, and before I could say anything, they said sorry, then turned around and walked back the exact way I heard them come from. Also, the way they said sorry was like they were trying to be quiet. It was just barely louder than a whisper. It was really strange. What were they even sorry for? They had to be looking for a campsite. There's no way they were just walking around at night like that for no reason. It felt really, I guess, unsettling. I didn't feel in danger, but the way they acted was just out of the usual behavior of any hiker I'd ever come across. Their footsteps walked away, turning into the subtle, quiet night it was just moments ago, as if nothing had happened. Despite the unusual interruption, I ended up going back to stargazing and relaxing.
Would you stay there? I don't really know. I don't. But you are on okay, but to be fair though, you are camping in a spot where you said that a lot of people camp at. Like, you're not camping alone. You're camping in a spot where other people have the same idea as you. So, in this situation, you wouldn't really see. I mean, another human's a threat, but again, it just really depends because you did say that there's tourists that hike here, and like it's a general place that people hike. So, to a degree, you're kind of like, I guess that's why he stayed. It depends on the context, but with the context he gave us, people came here often. Oh, I was like, there's a higher probability of someone's camping there rather than pitch aloneness. I mean, you are camping at a known campground as well, so yeah, I guess you wouldn't really leave in a situation. It depends. Yeah, I guess he just stayed here.
Only a few minutes afterward. I hoped wherever that guy was heading, he'd make it there soon, and safely. But aside from that, I didn't think too much more about it. Several hours went by, or at least it felt like that. Clouds started to roll in, blocking out the moon and stars and casting a shadow over the entire forest.
R.I.P.
I wasn't exactly tired or ready to sleep yet, so I sat along the campfire and hoped I'd eventually get bored and sleepy enough to call it a night. But then I heard footsteps again. They were more rushed this time, almost like panicked footsteps running through the woods in the exact same place the man came from earlier in the night.
He got lost chasing by a bear.
I stood up, getting worried as they approached. Then he came into the light. I could tell by the backpack and his general figure that it was the same hiker from before. He walked further up this time, enough for me to see him better. He had a medium scruffy beard and oily black hair, along with some signs of distress on his clothes, as well as dirt scuffed over his face. And his eyes were wide, like he was scared, yet his mouth was straight and emotionless. "Is everything okay? You probably should have made it to your campsite by now. It's pretty late." The man stood there, catching his breath, but keeping on guard. His eyes looked over my right shoulder for a second, then back at me. "Are you lost? Maybe I can help," I said. He then muttered no under his breath, saying he was just hiking out in the woods and didn't mean to bother me. He spoke slowly though, and the whole time his eyes were constantly shifting to something on the right side of me. He'd only look for a split second, then his eyes would lock back onto me. Listen, you look pretty nervous. I can help. Maybe send a radio message for you, or whatever you need." He seemed to ignore what I said, but he then suddenly locked his eyes on me, more intently than before. "You're camping here right now. Why?" The way he asked it was really unsettling. His eyes darted to my right again, and I couldn't resist the urge to look over my shoulder.
Jumps you.
Empty, dark woods. I saw nothing. I was getting really creeped out now, and wasn't sure how much more I wanted to talk to this guy, let alone try to help him with whatever was going on. Then he asked something even more creepy. "Is it just you here? Are you alone? Where are the others?" Taken aback by the question, I hesitated to respond right away, and before I could even answer, he spoke again. "Have you been following me?" Something was off. His manner was changing and he was tensing up. I said no, and that I didn't know what he was talking about. But then his eyes shifted onto something over my shoulder again. However, this time, they didn't shift back to me. His wide, hollow eyes were locked onto something. He asked one last question.
It's a third party.
"Then why are you with her?" I
GG.
instantly turned around and looked over my right shoulder, but my eyes fell on nothing. Still just empty, dark woods.
Uh-oh.
I looked back at the man. His face fell into terror, still staring beyond me, before he suddenly broke out into a sprint, running deeper into the woods. Within seconds, he was past all the lights and completely gone. The direction he ran was nowhere near the trail, or really anything at all. My heart was still racing though. I was looking all around, especially behind me, trying to figure out what the hell that guy was talking about, and what he was seeing. In those brief moments after he asked, "Then why are you with her?" I thought I'd connected everything, that this man was being followed by some woman or group in the woods. And when I looked over my shoulder, I fully expected to see her standing behind me, deranged and terrifying. But now I didn't know what to believe. I was scared shitless though, and was absolutely not staying any longer.
Yeah, time to bounce.
I gathered up everything and started moving. Even though I saw the guy run in the other direction from the trail, I was still on edge the entire walk. Every slight noise had me startled and expecting to see some woman following me, or whoever the hell he was talking about.
Third party.
But I never did. I made it to my car and left. The following morning, I decided to put in a note with the police station near me about the guy out there, because with more time to think about it, I was pretty worried about him.
Yeah, like he probably died.
While I don't have an exact explanation for what went on that night, I can provide a decent theory for the situation after consulting dozens of people over the years. The most likely and tragic explanation is the man may have gotten lost and been out there for a very long time, probably becoming extremely hungry and dehydrated to the point of near insanity and paranoia, thinking something or someone was following him through the woods at night. Unfortunately, with him not being in the right state of mind, he didn't know help when he saw it. When he found me, he was probably too paranoid to know that I could have saved him, giving him food and water and let him out of the woods. He might have been so out of it that he didn't even know he was lost anymore and was too caught up in the paranoia of whoever he thought was following him. While this is the most probable cause of the man's behavior
Doesn't make sense.
and what happened that night, there's still no saying if it's actually true. There's a chance he really was being followed.
Yeah.
And wasn't sure.
Your first theory doesn't sound correct to me because you're acting like he's been there for days, but you know, it's more likely he was getting yeah, he's probably getting chased by someone or seeing, yeah, that is what it is, right? That situation is pretty pretty interesting. Hard to really yeah, that situation's pretty interesting. You're definitely caught up in a third party. I mean, imagine his perspective, right? His perspective. He walks into a campsite by accident. Sorry, my bad. He walks away, and he starts hearing footsteps chasing him, and he starts going crazy. And then he runs back to the campfire, sees him, be like, "Yo, are you alone? Who's that guy chasing me?" And then, yeah, he just dude, there's no guys, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty sure we're gonna stop listening to these stories. I'm gonna be honest. Can't really give any framework in these stories. Honestly, I can't give any framework. Can't give any framework. I think for camp stories, pretty much humans are the most dangerous animals out there. And yeah, try avoid them. Any signs of them, yeah, you probably want to leave. Also, depends really where you're camping. Yeah. Really depends where you're camping. You got a lot of risk when you're camping in the woods. You either stumble upon a cartel, stumble upon crazy people, stumble upon a cult. If you're camping in public space, you got to risk, the public people might be crazier or something. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Humans are just super dangerous. You got to be very careful. Besides that, though, don't think there's any other lessons besides. Yeah, I mean, when you're sleeping and camping, it's the same scenario. What am I saying? It's kind of like saying, you right now in your house. I'm talking to you. You right now in your house. Some guy can really just come into your house and kill you. I'm like, it is what it is. Some guy sees your house, bust the door down, kill you. Same kind of situation when you're camping. Chilling in a tent, a bear can just come kill you. Or another human will just come kill you. Or matter of fact, a tree might just fall on top of you. It is what it is, So it just really depends. It is what it is, right? Like right now, your device you're watching this on could explode. I don't know. Lightning strike it at you. It is what it is. So yeah. We're gonna stop with these camping stories, unfortunately. We're gonna have to find another horror story or something later on, but yeah. Sounds about right. We've been OBSing for like 5 hours now, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Right, as you may appreciate everyone. All right. Sorry that we had no gym footage today. It is what it is, but hopefully you guys enjoyed those camping stories. We didn't really learn much framework, but yeah, thank you for watching. All right. First time of me staring very intensely at the webcam. Usually I'm looking over here. All right. Bye-bye.